Hello crafters and welcome back to my channel. My name is Deepa from Designs by D and I am so happy to be back with this amazing video sharing this beautiful card with you featuring products from so many designers, but my post today is mainly about the halo lights from Pear Blossom Press. Now there are tons of products available in the Pear Blossom Press store and they're all amazing, but I think this is by far one of the coolest, one of them, because there's so many. So these are all of the products that I have that I got from them because I thought they were just so cool. I love the fact that it's not just lights. So let's go over these. Now these are the ones you might know, the easy lights. You can get these, it comes in a set of two here. They have three lights at the end and you can get them in like a yellow light color or the bright light color. Then there is a stamp set here. I think it's really cool. It works with all of these sets because it tells you where to press, pull, glow, all these types of things, and prompts you to use all of these fun interactive products. Then we have the candlelight. This is really cool. You can get it in a 1-pack or a 2-pack, and it actually is able to blow out. So if you put this on, you light it up, and then you blow on it, it actually blows it out like a candle, which is so cool. And then I have the halo light combo. This is cool because you get a halo light, which is like a circle with like 5 or 6 lights there, and then you get two singular lights that you can use because it's a combo pack. You don't have to use them together. You can separate them and use them separately. And that's going to be like the highlight of my card today. And then there's also these scratch off stickers, which are really cool. You just kind of stick them down over some stamped sentiments or pictures, and your user or your recipient can scratch them off. And then there's the snap and spins, which are really cool for cards that have rotating elements. Very, very fun. I really do recommend that you subscribe to my channel, and also I'll put a link down below for Instagram. Please follow me. I am going to be posting tons and tons of inspiration with all of these products in the near future. So please do watch out for that. And I was just showing you that cool little light bulb clip. I think it's the coolest thing ever. But these are all the products that I have. Like I said, we're focusing on the halo light combo, or the halo light in general today. I'm also going to be using this mix of products as well. I thought that they worked together perfectly for this card. These are some older products from Pink Fresh Studio, Altenew, Spellbinders, and I've also got some fun confetti from This Calls for Confetti. These round circles work so well with the idea that I have in mind, especially with the halo light, so I'm going to keep that aside. The Altenew Craft Flowers are beautiful. I thought that this die set works really well with this. And then I've also got the Spellbinder sets here, some older ones that have some really nice, fun, elegant sentiments that I thought would work well as well. And then again, this confetti pack here from This Calls for Confetti, because we are going to make this a spotlight shaker card. And I think this is just the funnest idea because the lights from the halo really make that confetti glimmer and shine, and it just adds like a whole bunch of fun to this card, which I think is the coolest thing ever. So I'm just going to go through a bit of the prep work for the Altenew flowers in order to just give you an idea of how I put them together, but I don't want to make the focus about that. The focus is going to be putting the card together and getting that halo light in the exact right position to make sure this card just glows with shine. Now, I have all of the petals, all of the pieces cut out from this Altenew set, and I'm just basically adding color to them. I'm adding some Peach Perfect ink, and I'm adding some Midnight Violet, and I'm creating a nice color gradient from the purple to the peach. Now, I did want to take 1 second just to explain my voice right now. I might sound like I have like a little bit of a lisp right now. I actually had a tooth removed recently and I'm kind of working through it, so please excuse that. Sorry if I mispronounce some things, but I think you get the gist. So moving on, I got all of the petals done. You'll notice that the second row of petals here are actually buds, so I did try to make them more darker and more purpley than the peach. And then I'm adding color to the stamens. I use some marshland ink, which is more of like a greeny yellow for the centers of the flowers. And then for the little bits that go on top of that stamen, the anthers, I think, I always confuse them. I made that what was it? I think Cosmic Sky. It's like got a little bit more of a pinkish hue to it. And then for the leaves, I'm using a mix of moss, olive, and mountain pine. Now, all the inks I'm using are all to new. Everything that I'm using today is linked in the description down below. You can always check those out if you'd like. Now, for these leaves, just like with the petals, I really like to just add the colors and blend nicely. And I don't exactly know which parts of these leaf fronds are the tops and bottoms. And when that happens, I like to add the darkest color to the bottom, mainly what I think is the bottom, and then a little bit to the top. It creates like a flow in the leaf where it creates a highlight. So you get a bit of movement from having that color gradient. And I think that looks just perfect. So I'm going to show you how I put together the first flower. I would recommend using a glue bottle or something with a fine tip that's going to help you put this together. I'm using the packaging. You really need the packaging to put this together, and I'm going to show you how to put together the first one. There is a keyhole or a hole for each of these that allow you to put them together perfectly. They have different shapes, so you line up the different flowers perfectly, and I think that is pretty self-explanatory. So use your packaging, put everything together, and this is mainly just to get all our elements together to add to the front of the card after assembling the halo light, which, like I said, is the star of this card. So I'm going ahead and adding each layer one by one. And I do have to mention that the funnest part about this set is that it has like a different type of fold to the layers. It's what they call a mountain fold. And what that does is that's going to allow you to give the petal like a bit more lift. It gives it a bit more dimension. And there's an option. So you can use that mountain fold, or you can use the normal way of putting it together. So there's an option 1 and an option 2, and those petals will have like an A or B on them to give you one or the other option. You don't use all of the petals, you just use one option or the other, so you'll have something left behind if you cut everything out. So as you can see, I think after this part here, I'm going to get to the mountain fold. And everything will just come together nicely. I think the mountain fold is the last layer for the first flower. And it does occur, and I think the second flower as well. There's a second option for that one too. So as I said, you have this option here where there's one piece and you fold it, or you can choose a second option where there's two pieces that layer on top of each other just to cover up that keyhole. So this is one way to do it. And as I mentioned, it creates a lot of dimension. So if you want, when you place this on your card, you can put a little foam adhesive, like a foam square, underneath that petal so that it props it up a little more and really emphasizes that dimension. So here's that floral, and you can see that part kind of like lifts up there. Really cool. So I'll put all of the other florals together on the side and the buds, just to save some time here because this video is a little bit long. And I'll put those aside and get ready to do the next step, which is really the main base of the card. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, before we go ahead and do that, I have a quick tip here. If you have this with the acetate sheet and the dies on it, I do kind of put it through my die cutting machine because I have the XL version, but be very careful not to force it through your machine. If you're finding you're having trouble, then this tip probably won't help or work for you, but if it works, hey, great. You get it all done in one go and you don't have to remove all your dies. So for the sentiment, I did cut it out ahead of time. This is going to be the main sentiment, and then there's going to be a sub-sentiment. I used these spellbinder sets here. Again, everything linked in the description below, and I just doubled them up to give it a bit of structure here, the top layer being metallic gold. So moving on, I've now got this fun circular set from Pink Fresh, and because we're cutting out that circle element for the spotlight halo, I figured this nice round sentiment that works around it would look really nice with it. So I found a bunch of products from different brands that work really well and just really, they feature the halo light and just complement it so well. So there are those two little lights in the center. You have to just twist them out. I would twist them just to prevent any breakage. And then I have like a little bit of a nail file. You'll notice the edge might be a little bit rigidy and like it might be a little bit pointy, so that just helps file that down a bit so that it's nice and smooth. Then I'm grabbing the batteries, which I love that they're included in here and you don't have to buy them separately. And all you really do is make sure the plus side is up and just stick it in the bottom there. Very easy to put together. And then the little button just lets it light up so beautifully. And because it is a circle, and I think there's one, two, three, four, five, I think there's 6 lights on it. It just creates a lot of light, actually, a lot more light than I expected, especially if you're using this method where you're kind of containing it in the circle like I am. So, first things first, I went ahead and I cut out that circle in the exact position that I wanted on my card front. So, this is just an 4.25 by 5.5 inch A2 size card front. I've gone ahead, cut out the circle. Now I'm just going to stamp out that sentiment, that circular sentiment, and actually heat emboss it using some Altenew rose gold embossing powder. I like the rose gold embossing powder. It has a little bit of a subdued look. It's not too bright and shiny, meaning it's not going to take away from my spotlight halo. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that together. Now, part of the reason why I used the halo for this method is because I find that a lot of the Pear Blossom Press lights are used for a lot of cute critter projects, and I just wanted to show you how to use it in an elegant way that is just really fun. And if you're a floral person like me, you just love elegant florals, like I wanted to use this with the things that I love best and make it absolutely amazing. So I hope that this idea is something that you might try out. And as I mentioned, because it's not only the halo light, it's a shaker card as well. That light makes those shaker bits glisten. Like it just looks really, really pretty. So I've gone ahead and I've added my acetate. Quick note here, don't add your acetate until doing the next part. I kind of screwed up a little bit here and got ahead of myself. So here, when you actually have your card base, you want to trace that circle. So that's why don't do the acetate yet. I had to kind of makeshift figure it out here. But yeah, definitely trace your circle, then add the acetate. And you're tracing the circle onto your card base. An A2 size card base. Now I did cut down that red panel just a little bit to get a little bit of a border around the edge. And that is completely up to you. You don't have to add it if you don't want to. So the next step here is to add strips of foam adhesive around the halo. I like to use these thin foam strips. You can cut them up if you need to. Mine come like this, and I think they're really cool. I'll link them down below because they work perfectly for the halo. I did add some anti-static powder there so that any of the shaker bits don't get stuck to it. And now I'm just going to add the maroon circle to the card base to line up with the card front. Now, for the actual foam on the back of the panel, I added strips just along the 3 edges, and then I had to double them up to ensure that they were at the right height to ensure that the halo is going to fit behind it and it's not going to be pushed in too far or that there's too much space. So double that up, and then so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some strong adhesive to the part of the halo that has the logo for Pear Blossom Press. Strong adhesive, because this is all I'm actually going to be attaching. I'm going to line it up with the frame because remember the halo is going to create a white frame there in the circle, and press it down really, really tightly. If you want, you can add a little bit of tape to the top of the halo to ensure that it's completely stuck down, but I didn't feel like I needed to because once the circle of the halo, that compartment for the shaker bits gets stuck down, it's all just going to stick together nicely anyways. Do also make sure that the portion there underneath the battery pack has a smaller strip of foam because you don't want it to show through your card front. I added a couple more pieces there on the side. And now that everything's ready, I'll release all the release papers. And then I'm going to add my beautiful confetti from This Calls from Confetti. It's a fun, like a white iridescent shaker piece that has glitter in it, which is really fun. So I thought that that would pick up the light from the halo really well and shine nicely, which is why I chose these shaker bits as opposed to maybe clay ones or something like that. So I'm going to go and collect it in the well there, or well, in the center before we attach the well, which would be the actual halo compartment. And then I will remove the release paper from the halo, which I recommend doing before, and then attaching it firmly. Make sure to press around the halo to ensure that all those shaker bits aren't going anywhere, and test out your light to ensure everything's working properly, which usually it does. These lights are really good. Now you can see that I have this one bud here, and I took the little stamps from Pear Blossom and I stamped out the press here because it's going to indicate where to press on our design. And I didn't want to have just like a blatant press here somewhere on the background. I wanted it to kind of blend in with the design to keep that elegant flow going. So I've gone ahead and attached it, I've tested it out, and now I just have to place all of my flowers where I want them. When doing this type of placement and arranging your flowers, I do recommend using like a small square foam adhesive and attaching just one to the back of each flower, and that allows you and gives you space behind the flower to move the petals around, to move the leaf fronds around, the buds around, and place them wherever you'd like. And then after I've done that, I like to take some more of the foam squares and just prop up the petals a little more and make sure everything's attached properly. And don't be afraid to cut up some of your leaf fronds to get them to fit where you need them to go. I did cut off the end of the bud that has the press here on it. And as I mentioned, add some extra foam behind the petals just to give it a bit more structure because we only added one behind each one. The next step is going to be to add the friend sentiment. So I had cut out the friend and hello, but I thought that the friend worked well with the sentiment and the design. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that right on top of the florals and a little bit over the halo shaker window. And once that's done, you can see how gorgeous it looks, and it lights up so beautifully and shines so sparkly, not only in the light, but also in the dark. It just glows, just like something that, like, I don't know, it actually looks like a beacon light. This would probably work well for something like that as well. Anyways, I hope that you have been inspired to create something similar with the ideas in this video. Like I mentioned before, everything used has been linked in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.